It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candace Gish, and I will be your host for today's program. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. If this is your very first time checking out the Divas, we want to do a big welcome to all of you. The Divas That Care has going into its 11th season. We have been interviewing women from around the globe. We are actually listened to in over 30 countries, and we have a whole bunch of amazing hosts on our network. So make sure that you check out those fantastic women at divasthatcare.com. Well, everyone, I'm going to be welcoming back a friend of mine, Susan Isaac. And Susan is an amazing artist that she designs these amazing pieces of art that people wear, and they're transforming people's lives. So I want to have her back on, and I want to talk to her about what she's been up to in the last, 12, 18 months, and, see what we can do to support her. So welcome back to the show, Susan.
Oh, thank you, Candace. It's such an honor. I had so much fun back in May when I did my first radio interview with you. And certainly your invitation has caused me to reflect upon, well, what have I done since May? And how am I different from when I was with you in May, and what has transformed me? So thank you for helping me do a retrospective as well.
Oh, I love it. I'm just beyond excited. I've been following you and watching you on your website, and it's absolutely fantastic and beautiful, and you're a part of some of these amazing programs out there. But before we dive into that, can we have you share a little bit about yourselves for the people that are just tuning in for the first time?
Okay. What it is, basically I started as an academic, and I was in the corporate world for 13 years. And I had a corporate burnout, and that happened 8 years ago. And it took me to my knees, Candace. I had nothing left to give. And I went back to, after that many years, I would just play with my glass in the studio in the summertime, because as an educator in the corporate world, it was slower in the summertime. And when I left the corporate world, I went back to the studio to try and find my wild woman. I lost connection with my deep feminine, with fire, with my fire inside of me, not just the fire of the kilns that I was working with and the open flame and of the glass. And I work with a glass form that's 6,000 years old. And when I venture into working with glass, that's one of my deep passions. I go into that ancient place of a tradition of going slowly, layering the glass, heating it up in the kiln. When you fire a piece, it takes 14 to 18 hours just to get to past stage 1. And then there's 2 other stages left. So it's about slowing down, being with the fire, being with the goddess of fire, Pele, and that helped me to get my deep feminine and my wild woman voice back. And I started playing with small pieces of glass, and I didn't intend to make pendants at all. I was just trying to warm up my fingers to make a large piece for a juried art show. And I put this piece, and I put a bail on it, and I posted it on the Silversmith website that I was part of at the time. And the teacher emailed me, and she messaged back and said, "That looks like a butterfly wing." And I said, "It does?" And I looked, and I went, "Oh, maybe she's right." And while I was down in the studio, a butterfly flew into my studio one summer day while I was down there, getting myself pulled back together, and I realized that the symbol of the butterfly is transformation. and that's what I was doing, getting back in touch with my real self. And I thought, if I started to shape the glass intentionally into a butterfly wing, maybe that would help other women to celebrate how far they've come in life, what their healing journey is, and how they've transformed. And something that I'm very adamant about is that we need to celebrate every single step of the way, not just the big goal at the end, which is how I was celebrating life in the academic and corporate world, is don't celebrate the little successes. That's kind of bragging, or you're not ready yet. Wait for the big goal to be achieved and then do the celebration. That is just so not me, and maybe it's not other women as well in general. So I want women to celebrate the small steps in life. Every step is worthy of celebration, of going, oh, I did this, and I'm not the same person anymore, and I have more wisdom about this learning, and I can maybe pass that on to someone else with my story. So as I tried to heal myself, I started to make these symbols of transformation, and then I would put them on Facebook, and I would ask women to name my pieces. And for every piece I put up on Facebook, I received 10 to 20 names from people that just jumped on to share their creativity, their imagination, and the names were incredible. So I started creating a naming bank, and I still do it to this day. And because one pendant only gets one name, so I have maybe 9 names left. And what happened recently, which really helped to spark me to consider gifting pendants as well as selling them to share, or having making pendants with women's energy, custom pendants, and I can address that separately, is I received a message from a woman, and she wanted to purchase one of the pendants that I had on my website, and it came from my naming bank. It was a little bit of bling pendant. It's the scrap glass that's left over once I cut a wing out from a 4 by 6 inch pendant, a 4 by 6 inch glass panel, and I cut wings out, but there's always scrap glass left. It's sort of like cutting something out in fabric and you've got all this extra fabric left. I started making little squares and triangles and hearts, and this one woman, the reason she bought this one that was called Spunky, and it's just a little triangle, is because her daughter-in-law had just finished chemotherapy, and she wanted to celebrate her finishing her chemotherapy. She still had some radiation therapy to go through, but she was out of the woods and her cancer was going into remission. And this young woman had been very brave. And it brings tears still that this mother-in-law was there with her all the way and wanted to gift Spunky to her to celebrate this point in her life. And I went, oh my goodness, this is what brings tears to my eyes. This is what brings me so much joy, is that women would like to gift my symbols of transformation, be them little bits of bling or the butterfly wing. And I want to be part of that gift giving more than I have been up until now. So I have just as of this week launched Uplift Someone offer. And I want it to be more than an offer. I want it to be the way I create my pieces, that if you buy a butterfly wing, I will contribute one of my bits of butterfly bling, that the woman who purchases can choose which one she wants to give as a gift, and so she can give that to someone that is she wants to uplift, or to a charity of her choice. And I love what you do, is that you're dedicated to your charities that uplift women and girl-based charities. Or I will give that piece if the woman doesn't have any any particular vision about where that gift goes. So I have just started that this week, and we'll see where this goes and how it grows. And I'm open to advice and other people's ideas of how I can make this sharing and uplifting someone go further and grow further. Because another passion of mine is helping women to know that they should celebrate along the way, and that other women are cheering them on, but most importantly, that they're not alone in their journey, whoever they are, that there's a sisterhood like Divas That Care. You know, we are our sister's keeper, which is what you say in your foundation mission of what Diva is. Mm-hmm. And I want to share my deep love of a 6,000-year-old art, my bringing in the goddess of fire, Pele, to help me design, because I never do it alone, and my deep passion for helping other women know they're not alone. So there you go. In a nutshell, that's where I'm at right now.
I love it. I am so inspired by you right now, Susan. You and I have been getting to know each other since last year, and the more you talk, the more I learn from you, the more I'm inspired. And thank you so much for everything that you are doing.
You're welcome. Oh, my goodness. It means a lot coming from someone who has been part of uplifting women and being a sister's keeper for the past 10 years. Because 10 years ago, this was a dream of mine, Candace, but I didn't even know how to make a pendant. I didn't know how to put a pendant together and make it something that I could into a necklace and a pendant. I had to learn all those skills 10 years ago, so it was a dream that I tried to keep alive in my imagination while I learned the skills to put this together. You've been doing it for a long time.
I've been having the honor to talk to amazing women like yourself, yes, and this is why we do what we do, is so that we can hear stories like yourself, because now look what's happening with you. Now you are transforming other people's lives. And I want to kind of dive more into that, because you have now developed an amazing website. This website has transformed in the last, since obviously that we've talked to you, because you didn't have this website before. And you have a store on there with beautiful, beautiful works like of pendants, and then you do custom pendants. And we've kind of briefly talked about that. We've talked about it in our past show. But let's talk about how a person can go about getting their own pendant. What is the process of this, and why do you think it's so important?
Yes, I thank you. Because part of I don't do New Year's resolutions, but I try to find a key word that helps me to travel through the next year, and I usually do it around January 1st, because it's a time to bring in the new. And my key word is joy. And what brings me joy? And I got back in touch with what brings me joy is to co-create with another woman. And I've done 10 of these so far. And I realized at January 1st, 2021, that I want to expand what I'm doing with this custom process. So how it works is when a woman decides that she wants a custom pendant, she tells me the feeling she wants in the pendant, the color she wants, the vision that she has for where it kind of words and ways to describe where she's at right now and what she wants her pendant to represent. And I do a video of that woman talking about her desires. Now, the video that is done is very important to me to help me create. It can either go on YouTube if someone is comfortable with it being a public statement about what their dreams and wishes are. And I have also had some women that did not want that to go public. It was just a private video for my purposes. And the way I use that video is just before I start to create the piece, I turn on that video to embody that woman's energy and to listen again and look at the woman's face and listen to what she wants. And then I turn that video off. Then I turn on music, because the energy of the goddess of fire, Pele, and my creative forces come to me through my body, and I play 5 songs, and they have to be in the right order, and they have to be particular songs. And over the past 10 years, that has never changed. It's the same 5 songs in the same order. And that's how I start to channel that energy. And prior to that process of actually starting to put the pieces of glass together to make the 4 by 6 inch panel, I work with the woman to find out what colors she wants as well as what her vision is. So I photograph various combinations of colors, and it's kind of fun. It's like decorating your living room, where you get a palette from the interior designer going, what shades of green and blue do you want, or whatever. And I send different color palettes, and not all those pieces of glass will go into a small pendant, but I get a sense of the flavor of the colors and textures of the glass, and that's really fun to do with a woman as well. And an example of all that is one of my custom pendants. A woman sent me a photograph of a sunrise, and the photograph she had taken in the summertime, and it was lots of oranges and reds and yellows, if you can, of course, in the summertime. And she said, I want my pendant to represent a sunrise, not a sunset. She was very specific. And I wanted to have these colors, and I wanted to celebrate my new direction in my life, because she was about to retire from a university job and moved 6 months of the year to Mexico and go in a new direction. Her husband had died of cancer at 57 years of age, and she had helped her husband die with grace. And she wanted some of that energy of helping her husband pass in that wonderful, beautiful way. She wanted that to be part of the pendant, but not to be the dominant part of the pendant, more going in the new direction, but not forgetting this very pivotal time in her life. So those were my instructions. And when I played those 5 songs after listening and playing her video again, I set to work with the goddess of fire, Pele. So I create the panel with that kind of preparation. And those are my instructions, and I create the panel, and then the woman chooses a shape, and I have 4 different shapes of butterfly wings that I took from anatomy books, from entomology books. And she picked a particular shape, and then there are 6 different choices, because you can pick 20 choices on a panel and start moving it around, and every time you move that little cutout stencil around, another design is born. So if I can't see that person in person, I send 6 possibilities to that person, and then they pick which of the 6 they like the best. And I've done pendants from Edmonton, from Palm Springs, so from Victoria, from Vancouver. So it hasn't always been in my area, so I have to do this virtually and do the interview also virtually, usually with Zoom and recording a Zoom video. I do that process. I cut the pendant out. And then by the end of the time, the woman has come up with a name for her own pendant. This particular woman, she chose the name of her pendant, Grace Under Fire, because of how she helped her husband pass. Yeah, and she calls it GUF for short. And this is a woman that I never knew before I started this process. She was a stranger. But there's a connection that happens with co-creating in such an intimate way with a person. And after her pendant was created and she had it, she went down to Mexico to stay for, I think, 4 months this particular time. And she would send me emails, and her email would say, GUF and I went up to the top of a volcano today. So GUF went everywhere with her. So it was very cool, and she wore GUF on the plane to go down to Mexico, and she said the reactions that she got from people right from Vancouver going down to Mexico City and then taking another plane to go to the little town where she was going to stay, because it's that person's energy. It's not my vision. It's a co-created vision. People would just come up to the airport and point at her pendant and say, "Oh my goodness!" So the reaction is powerful because somehow people feel that energy. The other piece that really informed me about where I want to go with this gifting is she said, "Can you make 2 little bits of bling?" Because she knew I made bits of bling from scrap. She said, "Can you take my scrap and make 2 little bits of bling so I can gift them with my energy to my 2 best friends who helped me to help my husband pass with grace?" So I started getting the idea that the little bits of bling from the custom pendants, that's a very powerful way of giving a gift when it comes from the panel that's been co-created. So that part has grown, as well as the spunky story of pendant energy that I made ahead of time versus the 2 bits of bling for her best friends.
I think that is so beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
And the last piece of the custom pendant process is I videotape. We do a video of the woman wearing her final piece and what it means to her and what it was like to co-create a pendant versus purchase a pendant that's been pre-made. So that's been really interesting stories, and I do have those stories have gone public. I haven't had a woman yet who wanted to keep that private, but if they do, that's absolutely fine. So they're up on YouTube. This particular one, the GUF, Grapes Under Fire story, is up there, and the other stories of the women and what it means for them to have a pendant with their energy. And so every time I do this process and feel that woman's energy as I'm creating, I am completely transformed every time. So it goes very much both ways in terms of transformation. And some of the stories of what I've felt in the moment, sometimes late at night, creating these panels, I would like to put that together in a book of some kind someday to tell what happens to me at 11 in the morning and 1 a.m. with the powerful energy that's flowing through me at the time. I have to be alone in the studio when I do this process. I turn off the video, finish my 5 songs, and then start the process. It's a very deep personal process, and my loving, wonderful, artistic husband never walks in the studio at that time. He knows that I'll say, "Oh, I'll be up for supper in 2 hours." He knows it's going to be 4 hours later. He is a wonderful glass artist himself, so he knows never to come in the studio, and he knows never to stop the process. I'll come home when I come home.
Oh, I love that. Susan, I absolutely think that all that you've been talking about is absolutely amazing. I know we're coming to the end of our program right now. I just want to ask you, where can our listeners go and check you out on social media?
They can check out me at susanisaacdesign.com. And I've just started, if you purchase a butterfly wing, my wonderful tech has set it all up on my website. So if you're interested in purchasing one of those, you can gift a bit of butterfly bling and pick which one, and that's all laid out in the process. And I pay for the shipping for your butterfly pendant and your bit of bling. And for your listeners, I have an offer that if they're interested, the first 3 purchases of any pendant, it doesn't have to be a butterfly wing with the uplift someone part of my website, any bit of bling. I have 3 notebooks that can be used as a journal or for sketching or whatever people want, and it's from my passion collection because I'm in the process of taking the photographs of my designs and translating them into masks and journals and other products so people can have a smaller version of my work. So I have 3 passion journals that I will gift and send those free shipping as well to a woman. So that's an offer for your listeners.
I think that's wonderful. Thank you so much for doing that, Susan.
Oh, you're welcome. I sent photograph of the Passion Journal, so if you want to post that so people can see what the journal looks like, you're welcome to do that too. And it's beautiful acid-etched, creamy pages, and there's 48 pages in the journal, and it's a spiral, so it's easy to turn. So, and it's just my experimenting. I still have a lot to learn about designing and translating onto masks and scarves and journals and things and tote bags and things like that. I'll get there, but I still have a lot to learn about how you do that.
Well, I think you're doing such a great job. You've come so far in such a short period of time, and I'm just so beyond inspired by that. I was looking at some of these beautiful pieces of art that you have made, and oh my goodness, I think all of our listeners need to check that out, Susan. So thank you so much for coming on the program today. I can't wait to have you back on. I know you're going to come on soon.
Well, thank you for the invitation again. It's always an honor to be with your network and feel the sisterhood of your network and everything that you've created as well. So it's nice for me to feel connected to everything that you're doing as well, Candace. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome, Susan. It's my pleasure. And a huge shout out to all of our amazing listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure that you go and check out Susan's website. And you know what? Really think about getting yourself one of her custom pendants. You know, I'm going to be getting one myself. Her and I have talked about it. I believe in the journey, and I think it's something that I'm going to be wanting, and to give out some pieces to my daughters, because a lot of you know that I am the mother of 4 amazing girls that have inspired me to continue to do the Divas That Care. So that is what I'm going to be doing with those pieces. Again, if you've just tuned in for the very first time, thank you so much. Make sure that you check out our website at divasthatcare.com for more amazing programs. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you all have a great day. Take care for now.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.